Hello, how are you? I hope you're good. Today I come to you with a new-ish video. Not really, it's really similar to my recent reads, but instead of books that I read about forever ago, we're going to talk about new releases. I have a stack of books, 4 books. 3 of these were sent to me by publishers, and another book came out recently, so I figured I would compile this all in a video and just briefly talk about each book and tell you my thoughts. Because honestly, I could review all of these books separately, but only one of them I really enjoyed. The rest were just sort of subpar for me. So yeah, that's why I'm just putting it all together. And yeah, first off, I have the big ones, How Natural Disasters Have Shaped Us and What We Could Do About Them by Dr. Lucy Jones. This is a nonfiction book about natural disasters in human history and how they've shaped us, how we used to view them, how we view them now, how we prepare for them, etc, etc. It's such a fascinating book. I enjoyed this one so much. Of all these books, this is the book that I recommend highly. It's one of my favorite books that I've read this year so far. A little bit on the author. Dr. Lucy Jones, she was a seismologist for the US Geological Survey for 30 years, and she's now a science advisor for risk education. She's really smart, which I'm not, which is why I can't go too into depth with this book, so you're getting surface level with this human, sorry. But this book is so interesting. She brings up so many events. She goes all the way back to Pompeii. And in Pompeii, if you're not aware, that is the volcanic eruption that occurred in 79 AD. When did that happen? Let's go to the contents. I was right, 79 AD. There's a part that I wanted to read to you from this book, which I thought is really interesting because when this volcanic eruption occurred, or any time there would be a volcanic eruption, these people viewed it as their gods being angry, which it's hilarious, but very interesting. Romans were in the hands not just of destiny, but of their capricious gods. Like the Greek before it, Roman mythology portrayed the gods as selfish, careless entities, albeit very powerful ones. Disaster happened to an individual because he got in the way of a spat between these powerful beings. Vulcan, the god of fire, was not physically attractive, but he had been given Venus, the goddess of love, to be his wife. Volcanic eruptions then were a sign of his anger when he found out about one of Venus's infidelities. So basically, when the volcano would erupt, these people thought that their god was just angry with his wife about messing around with someone that wasn't him, which I find hilarious. Anyway, that's not the point of this book, but it's just interesting the way we used to view things. And then she talks about an earthquake in Lisbon that happened around the 1700s, and a lot of people viewed earthquakes as God being angry with us, as punishment. That's also really fascinating. And then she rapidly goes through all of these different events and just shows us how we changed over time, you know, reacting during, after, before. It's so fascinating. This is such an interesting read. Non-fiction, but it's not boring. I swear it's not boring. You should pick this up. So good. And then I read The Spirit Photographer by John Michael Varese. This came out in April, and I was sent this by Overlook Press. I was really looking forward to this book because, let me give you a really short synopsis, but in Boston in 1870, we have a photographer, Edward Moody. Now, he is a spirit photographer, so he gets people from everywhere. But recently, he's been getting a lot of more powerful people, you know, political people. And when the senator and his wife come in to get their photo taken, an image pops up on the photograph that really takes the photographer by surprise because it's someone that he knew in his past. And the senator and his wife also seem to freak out a bit because they also possibly might recognize this person. So we're kind of thrown on this big ol' mystery, this ride to figure out who is the person in this photograph and what happened to her. So that really hooked me because it just sounded so fascinating. I love photography, I love historical fiction, and this time period is so interesting. You know, there's so many things that you could do. But unfortunately, this book fell so flat for me, and the main problem with that is that this writing felt so surface level. You don't really get to know any of these characters. We're told so many things, but we're not shown a lot, and that just left me so dissatisfied. And ultimately, when supernatural elements started to become a play in this book, it just felt so unbelievable, and I couldn't take this book seriously anymore because of that. And yeah, I mean, honestly, just such a huge disappointment. I was hoping for so much more, so I'm really sad about this one. I love the premise, it just fell through. So I can't really recommend this to anyone, you know, unfortunately. I keep saying unfortunately, but it's how I feel. I wanted to love this, but was let down, so let down. And then I read Medusa Uploaded by Emily Devenport. This came out in May and was sent to me by Tor, the publicist. She actually pitched this one to me and told me that she thought I would like it, so I said, yeah, send it to me, I will read it. And this one was really interesting. It is a sci-fi, and I love sci-fi. But before I tell you my thoughts, let me give you a little brief small synopsis. This book follows Ochi. Ochi is a worker on a generation starship. She's a very low-class worker. You could almost consider her a servant. And what happened is she is killed. Well, not killed, she survives, but someone is sent to kill her because there's suspicion on her for specific reasons, political elements, and just some shady stuff going on. But she survives. This person, thing, AI, robot, saves her, and what happens is they work together to then go on a revenge sort of plot to take out all of these higher up people that are lying to everyone on board. It's very political, like I said. There's a lot of families that are at one another. People are killing people left and right. People are putting hits on everyone, and for that reason, this one left me really underwhelmed. It was not what I was expecting at all. I thought this was going to be very focused on, I don't know, I thought this was going to be very iRobot-esque, but it was so different. I have found that I'm not really into books that have big political elements to them when there's just a lot of power play dynamics going on. It's just not enjoyable for me, and that's what this book really focused on. So I think to people that like that, you would really enjoy this. So yeah, those are basically my thoughts. It was interesting. I just wish it was more on the sci-fi spectrum than it was. The last book that I'm going to quickly talk about today is Adjustment Day by Chuck Palahniuk. This book released in May, I want to say, though I don't actually really know at all. Sometime recently-ish. Yeah, I picked this up and read this because Strip Cover Lit is hosting a read-along on their channel, so if you're interested, I'll link that down below in the description. Adjustment Day is really hard to describe, so I'm just gonna read something on the inside. Politicians bring the nation to the brink of a third world war in an effort to control the population of young males. Working class men dream of burying the elites, and professors propound theories that offer students only the bleakest future. So I don't really have anything good to tell you about this book because I can't tell you that it's a good book. It is very hard to push yourself to get through this. The first 40-50 pages, I was very confused. It was only after that point did I start to follow along. There's a lot of POVs, point of views, that you have to follow, and I really struggled. And the writing style was very hard to get into at first. But then the book started to pick up, but it still wasn't enjoyable. It was just really messy. There were parts in here that I did enjoy in Palahniuk's writing. They were just few and far between, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I would not recommend Adjustment Day, so I might read Rant in the next couple of months because I don't know. I still like Palahniuk despite not liking this or Choke. I really didn't like Choke. I don't know which one I detest more. Probably Choke. That's all I'm going to say about that. Those are some new released books that are in the world that you could possibly read if you would like to. I really recommend the big ones. Have you guys read any of these? Are you interested in any of these? Do you have any thoughts or opinions on any of these? Blah, blah, blah. One more thing before you leave and disappear. There is a booktuber that just uploaded her booktube newbie tag, and her name is Nikki, and she's amazing, and I adore her, and she's awesome. I'm going to link her video down in the description below. Go and welcome her to the booktube community and say hello and subscribe and just be her friend, because she's awesome, and I've been wanting her to start a booktube channel for the longest time. She's finally doing it, and I'm so happy. And yeah, so I just wanted to get that shout out into the world. That's all I really have to say for today. So I hope you guys have a great day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in another video very soon.